Rajan, what's happening here? Because today, particularly, we are seeing a lot of cash-based selling, and the stock has held out on these 1,000 levels or just 950,000 on hopes that, or on a belief that there will be a deal in offing with Diageo at a level which will be much higher than the 1,200, 1,250 mark that everybody's been talking about. Today, there's a lot of cash-based selling as well. Without getting into today's trade per se, what's the view on United Spirits, and what are you hearing about the deal per se?
Well, Neeraj, actually, if you see, internationally, this kind of liquor companies like Diageo or Pernod Ricard or all these companies are trading at more than 3 times the sales, 3.5 times the sales, whereas United Spirits, even at 1,000 rupees, I think it's just about 1.25 or 1.5 times the sales, So I don't think so Mr. Vijay Mallya would offer stake at this price or maybe even at 1,200 rupees. I think that if the deal goes through, it would be somewhere around 1,400, 1,500 rupees, That is the bare minimum I expect, because since, as I mentioned, liquor companies trade at very decent price to sales, I think that there is a very decent upside if the deal goes through. But if the deal doesn't go through, I do expect it to go through. But if it doesn't go through, then I think it will stagnate around this level of 900,000,
In which case, I'm guessing what you're saying is that there is not too much of a downside. Should the deal go through, there is quite a bit of an upside possibility happening on United Spirits.
Certainly. At least about 25-30% upside if the deal goes through from here on.
Okay, Rajan, the other stock, and I really want to get a couple of ideas from you as well, but on another stock which has actually been doing very well of late, and that is financial technologies. Now, a lot of our technical experts have spoken about how it looks very good on the charts. What's your sense? Because there is an event happening wherein MCX is going all out to launch that membership drive and raking in the members for the equity exchange coming up as well. What's the sense on financial technologies, if you track it?
No, Aniraj, I don't track this company, so would not be in a position to comment, so I would skip it actually.
Fair call. Okay, we're talking about some ideas, some hidden names, and you've identified a couple, Rajan. I want to know if you're taking any kind of a punt or any, not necessarily a punt, but any time of a bet on a PSU banking stock, because I hear stories about, or I hear talks about how some of the stocks may be available dirt cheap at 0.3, 0.4 times book. My question really is that the book is a bit of an anomaly, because it may not stay the same if indeed there is some further erosion. Have you researched and identified any PSU bank which might be worth its while at the current prices?
Well, Neeraj, in fact, you'll be alarmed to hear and actually a little shocked to hear that we don't own any banking stock in our PMS. And nor am I in favor of owning any banking stock at this point of time. Because earlier in the show I mentioned that, if the country's largest bank is having difficulty in selling its loans to prospective home loan buyers and auto buyers, I think that clearly tells you that the scene is going to be bad. Plus, this Colgate thing, if that also escalates, probably we'll see a lot of I don't know, I'm just predicting. So it's better to be away from bank, and as I have been repeatedly mentioning on your show that rather than banking, something related to banking, insurance is a space to be in, and that is where we are extremely bullish. We own Aditya Birla Nuvo in our PMS, which is into finance, in insurance, Birla Sun Life Insurance, and we also own Max India. So these are the two stories we own actually. So I would say that, if you're looking from 3 to 5 year kind of time frame, rather than putting money into banking stocks, it's better to go in for companies which are into insurance business, because they are going to actually see very stupendous growth actually. See the kind of people insured in India, the potential of this market is huge actually, and I think these companies will do well. And as it is, if you see, Neeraj, to be very frank, the last 5 years, what has ICICI Bank delivered? I remember in January 2008 when we peaked out, ICICI Bank was around 1300, 1400, and today it's at about 940 levels. So, there are plenty of better opportunities, rather than looking at banking, look at insurance. They can multiply from here on.
What's the call on Reliance now? Because, we just had some brokerages, CLSA particularly, talking about a level of 850. It's not made any meaningful move above 800. I mean, not a conclusive breakout above that mark. Still struggling, though a lot of people see value in the stock right now. How would you approach it?
Well, Tanvir, twice on your channel we have given a strong bullish call on Reliance actually, and when the management has so far bought about 4 crore shares, has pumped in about 2,900, 3,000 crores, and when the management is pumping in this kind of money and buying 4 crore shares, I mean the aggregate price they have paid for acquiring this 4 crore shares, I think about 725 rupees or so. So if the management is buying, so aggressively at this levels, I think any downside in Reliance would be a great opportunity. We have a target of 900 rupees for Reliance in the next 6 months.
Anything else from the oil and gas space that interests you? I mean, there is a stock like Ceylon Exploration where there's buyback talk, and even fundamentally, the stock has performed fairly well. It's not a very liquid counter, but something that a lot of brokerages cover and institutions are interested in.
Well, I would not be interested in that stock because I have not seen that, so I would not be in a position to comment, nor would I comment on any of these oil marketing companies, because as long as the government continues to control the end product prices of petrol, diesel and all that, I think these companies are not going to show the real actual numbers and, deliver on performance. So my call in oil and gas would be Reliance, we are looking at 900 rupees. And we all need to recollect that, the last time the company did buyback, the stock doubled actually after the buyback was completed, So I'm not saying that the stock will double. But yes, certainly when Mr. Mukesh Ambani is pumping in this kind of money to buy his own stock, he is not buying it for 15-20%, if there's 15-20% value. He would be buying only if there's a value of 40-50%, So yes, maybe over the next 2 years, probably we could see Reliance over 1,000 rupees.
Right, okay, that's a quick call coming in on Reliance Industries. I would also want your perspective on some of the cement stocks which have gone a bit off the radar. Of course, there's broad-based participation and performance today, but any interest there, Rajan?
Yeah, Tanvir, we like India Cement a lot, though it is in the midst of some controversy, regarding that Jagan case and all that. Some CBI had inquired Mr. N. Srinivasan, the MD of the company. But I think that valuation-wise, India Cement looks extremely promising. If you see ACC, Gujarat Ambuja, Ultratech or Madras Cement for that matter, I think they are quoting at very high levels. I'm talking about EV enterprise value per ton, And if you see India Cement, I think it's quoting at, India Cement is a 16 million ton cement plant available at a enterprise value of just about 4,000 crores. I think less than 4,000 crores. So you're getting 1 million ton for 250 crores, which is below the replacement cost. And if you see ACC is I think about 30 million tons. Gujarat Ambuja Cement is about 30 million tons and Ultratech is about 52 million tons. Now if you see all these companies, they are trading at almost about anywhere between 700 to 900 crore per million ton. And India Cement, you're getting it for 250 crore per million ton. So I think there's sheer value. Even South-based Madras Cement, you're getting it for about 450 crore per million ton, So I think India Cement, once this clouds over this thing are dispersed, I think the stock can easily bounce to about 125, 130 levels,
Okay. So those are some ideas. Before we get in the final set of ideas from Rajan, quickly get in Poonam, our research analyst, to speak about some volume buzzers in trade, and I'm sure there are tons of them which have jumped up on good volumes. Poonam.
Well, Neeraj, we have Mercator Limited, Tata Motors as well as Gujarat State Petronet. On Mercator Limited, nearly 99 lakh shares have been traded so far, and the volumes are close to 22 times the 2-week average. There is some buzz of a stake sale to a Chinese company, that also at a premium, so that's the reason why the stock is seen bouncing about that. Highest volumes are seen at least in the last 52 weeks on this counter, and the stock has gained considerably and is trading and is spiked above all DMA as of now. On Tata Motors, 47.8 lakh shares have been traded and the volumes are close to 2.3 times the 2-week average. Again, highest volumes on this counter since the mid of August of this year, and the company had posted very good auto sales numbers, as well as there has been quite a bit of short covering there in the market that we have seen on major counters again today. This stock has gained and is again trading above all DMA. On Gujarat State Petronet, close to 39.3 lakh shares have been traded and the volumes are close to 2 times the 2-week average. Again, this stock is trading close to its 100 DMA, and highest volumes are seen in the past few trading sessions. There has been a block deal of close to 10 lakh shares in this stock. Over to you.
Thanks a lot for that, Poonam. Well, we just saw the flash at 2:30 about how there is going to be a CBI probe on export of the seized iron ore. So a few exporters, including Adani Enterprises, are going to be probed for this same. Has it had an impact? The market is strong, so percent higher for Adani. It's not come off quite dramatically from the kind of levels that it was trading at. But of course, mind you, it's a probe that is going to happen, not necessarily something that is a done deal or something that is proven. But yeah, but normally it's a weak set of stocks, this whole group, and with bad news not ending, upsides, if at all, are limited. I don't know how much of a downside as a result of this, but yeah, this is pretty much known that there's going to be a probe on some of the exporters. So a couple of these would come under the hammer. Adani Enterprises being one among them, 154.75, just about 0.5% higher, now showing that little bit of a reaction on the piece of news that is flashing on your screen. Okay, just wondering, before we get in the final ideas from Rajan, actually let's do that, because we've got some technical ideas going already. Rajan, you've spoken about a couple of themes already. Anything else that you believe can be bought into at the current levels from a 6-month to 1-year perspective?
Well, Neeraj, recently I had been looking at a company called Cholamandalam Investment and Finance Company. It's a part of the prominent South-based Murugappa Group. It's a finance company. Now this company is basically into vehicle finance, home equity loans, corporate mortgage finance, and gold loans. Now, if you see this company, between 2007 and 2011, this company went nowhere. Basically, in this 4 years, the company's profit was at the same 60 crore. Like in 2007, it reported 60 crore profit. 2010-11 also, the profit was 60 crore. So it basically didn't go anywhere. But if you see from April 2011 onwards, this company has been reporting excellent numbers. And that is very well reflected in the results which they declared for March 2012. If you see, disbursements in vehicle finance went up by 63%. Disbursement in home equity loans went up by 24%, total income went up by 50%, and net profit went up by 100%. Yet the market has not acknowledged the stock, because the stock was at 185 in April 2011, and in May also I think it was at about 185. I'm talking about May 2012, it was 185. So despite excellent numbers, the market didn't acknowledge that. Now, if you see the first quarter of the current year, this strong momentum has continued even the first quarter of the current year. Disbursements in vehicle finance went up by 56%, in home loans by 33%, total income again went up by 50%, and net profit again went up by 116% to be precise. Yet the stock has not participated. Now this year, based on this number, I'm expecting the company to report at least 23 rupees kind of earning, and the stock is quoting at about 205 levels. So it's quoting at about less than I think 8.5 times. Now, I think that Shriram Transport is trading at 11 times, Mahindra & Mahindra Finance is trading at about 12 times. But I think that Cholamandalam deserves a little higher P multiple than both these companies. The reason is that it's growing at a much faster pace than both these companies. And if you see Mahindra & Mahindra's financials disbursements, as far as vehicle finance is concerned, it's just moved up 26% in the last quarter. I'm talking about the first quarter of the current year, whereas this company's disbursements in the vehicle finance went up by 56%. So I think this company deserves a little higher P multiple. At a 13 P multiple, the stock can go to 300 rupees. So, and plus the interesting point about this company is that, almost 90% of the equity is held by promoters and 7 FIIs. So the floating stock in the market is very low, and so any buying could lead to a significant movement in the stock price. So we are looking at a price of 300 rupees for Cholamandalam over the next 12 months.
Okay, Rajan, thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us and giving us that perspective. Look forward to have you more often